another verse when you turn a bit further on. And this Psalm 37, I've got more marking in this than any other, because when you come through to verse 22, I'm speaking with the King James Version, if you're following it. It says in verse 21, the wicked will borrow and not pay back. How true that is. But the righteous will show mercy and give. So it speaks about the wicked borrowing and not repaying, but the righteous being so blessed that they're in a position to give. Verse 22, for such as be blessed of him will inherit the earth. It's, we have to remember that when we're distressed by politics and by wars, that our kingdom is not of this world. Jesus came to talk about a new kingdom, and the biggest single issue of his ministry was not just healing, it was his coming kingdom. He's always talking about the kingdom and that we will be with him. So here it says, here very carefully here, that we will inherit the earth. And then in verse 23, I've marked verse 23 because it says, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. Now, when I look back, and I've got the privilege of looking back over more years than most of you, being 93 years old when I'm speaking, and 75 years of full-time ministry, but it says here, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. And when I look back over my life, I'm shocked. And it was only when I was writing my autobiography and looking back, I realized how true this is. Virtually every part of my life was planned and ordered by the Lord. Whatever he told me to do, it could only be done at that time. I mean, for example, when I went to Jerusalem in 1961, it was because the only time in 2,000 years Israel was 13 years old. People were back in Jerusalem and they were going to be there in the upper room on the day of Pentecost. I had to be there. It was a specific time. Of course, I was there. You know my story. But it's like everything else. When God called me to evangelize in Russia and Siberia, he called me to do it at the only time it was possible to do it, when communism had just collapsed and there was disorder and chaos and the people were so open to receive the message. God knew the time. But more than that, because even when I arranged what we call the East-West conferences, which were in 1988. God actually showed me that the Iron Curtain would break, and he showed me how. And I prophesied in 1988, we'll hold a conference in 89 next year, and God will begin to break the Iron Curtain. And actually it happened within days of the end of the second conference in 1989. The Iron Curtain began to open. And then the last big conference held in 1990, what would have been 19, I've got to think carefully, 1991 or 92, 91 it was, when God showed me in a dream that the then leader of all the Russia, Gorbachev, would go. And it's amazing how it happened. And so what I'm saying is that God revealed things to me, showed me timings and places, and telling me when to work. So literally, I can say this, the steps of a good man are ordered, pre-planned in advance. Why? Because God knows your future and he knows my future. This is the interesting thing. So that verse is very special to me. And of course, I can't avoid speaking to verse 25, because here David says, he says, I have been young and now I'm old, yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken or his seed begging bread. You know, this is a remarkable testimony from David. He was old. He was getting old, yes. You can tell that from the Psalms at this time. But for him to say, I was young, now I'm old, yet I've never seen the righteous forsaken or his seed begging bread. And you know, I can say the same thing. God has never left me wherever I was, when I was in prison, when I had cancer, whatever I was doing, God never left me. He always kept me through everything, telling me where to go and when. And all I had to do was obedient. That's why it says, commit your way unto a Lord, and he will make it happen. We've got to commit our way to the Lord, and the Lord will bless you. And I just want to encourage you and challenge you that here David had such an experience, a personal relationship with God that isn't seen by anyone else. Oh yes, I know Jacob was marked, particularly because God said of him, as a prince you have power with God and with man and have prevailed. But David is the only one of whom Scripture says that he was a man after God's own heart. David loved God in a unique and a special way, and it shows. And I feel a sense of similarity with David, because right from the time David was 13, he could kill Goliath. And from age 13, I began preaching. And David continued faithful to the Lord until he died. And that's what I'm aiming to do, is to remain faithful to the Lord as long as I live. So do take comfort in the Scripture. There's a lot more, but I'm only just referring there to specific verses which have been very important to me. And I'm wanting to comfort you. I want you to know if you give your life into the Lord's hands, I don't mean just salvation, I mean actually surrendering your life to the Lord, he will take care of you wherever you are, like he did with me in prison, in traveling all those years, in cancers. He provided, made a way of escape and delivered me. And here I am, age 93, praising God like David, because once I was young, now I'm old, and God has never forsaken me and never will. Do put your trust in God. Thank you.